What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. What is up? Good morning. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Hump Day with Hansen. Of course, it's a Wednesday edition because it's freaking Hump Day. I am John Hansen. That's Thomas Tipple, Tommy T-Bone on the other side of the glass, producing this here live stream and taking all your questions and all that good stuff. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, what is this? Well, Hump Day with Hansen is, well, it's a Wednesday morning AM hang, and it is probably the toughest time of the week to get a handle on everything because we don't know the injury report. We're still kind of unpacking week 2, starting to look at week 3. It's a tough little spot here on a Wednesday morning. People want start-sit advice. They want information, but we're all still gathering our intelligence for the week. So that's a little bit of a tough spot, but we're offering up some content here as opposed to just doing a Q&A deal. So what we're doing is I go over my lessons learned of the week, what I got wrong, what I got right, all that good stuff. And we take a look at the trade market, the article over at fantasypoints.com. Do it every Tuesday. Takes forever, by the way. I mean, this puppy takes like 11 hours when you really think about it. Thomas. So I look at every nook and cranny. I look at every single team. I look at what happened last week, what's happening now, what may happen based on the future. And, always, not always, but it's usually pretty good. But, we're never going to get everything right, but we just try and put our best foot forward, do the best possible business that we can do. Speaking of that article taking me a long time, I was thinking today that, I retired from hosting a daily morning radio show 5 days a week, 2 or 3 hours. And you would think that, I'm good now, but not really. So I kind of worked straight through the week last week, like pretty much straight on through. So once again, everything is timing, and I was 100% correct. I know people, I certainly miss having that forum and talking to people. It was very cool to, kind of grow for 7-8 years, whatever it was. By the end, I felt like we had a really good audience, and it was always very nice to have that little forum and talk to people in the car. I know people always expected me on the air, and I rarely took days off because of that. But I did make a good decision retiring last year because, again, you can only go so many decades with like 7 jobs. So I'm narrowing it all down pretty much. I do the VEASAN show, but it's it's only 1 hour a week, and I don't have to get up early in the morning. So that's a good news, Thomas, too, because I definitely have more energy now since I stopped getting up at 6:30 every morning.
Well, and it's not like you disappeared from, the public eye. We have this show.
Yeah.
You do a lot more with the Fantasy Points podcast, and thanks to everyone coming over, obviously from Sirius and wherever they used to listen. That podcast has grown massively over the last year or so. So a shout out to everyone. I see all of your super chats. They are so greatly appreciated. We are going to hit all of those as soon as Guru runs through his players to trade and some notes. They will be first when we kick off questions. We will make sure to get all of them, and then we'll grab whichever other ones we can. You're not ignored. We see you. We love and appreciate it. And again, thank you, Guru. Let's kick it off. First thing you have for us today.
Yeah. Real quick before I get into that, because me, I'm awful with promotion. So I did want to pop out there that the current promo code POINTS, 15% off a fantasypoints.com subscription. And yeah, we really, truly do have the best customers in the business. It's incredible. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just karma. I don't know if people out there who are solid individuals are kind of attracted to us, but honestly, I'm not blowing smoke up people's butts. The understanding, the support, the attaboys. It's very impressive. So we really appreciate it. All right. With that said, let me cut to the matter here and go through, pretty much the lessons I learned coming out of week number 2. This is, I guess, in no particular order, but number 1, I'm a little concerned about the Jags spreading the ball around. I mean, to me, it comes down to Parker Washington, because Parker Washington has been balling the F out all year, going back to the summer. And it's kind of, I'm sure he's endeared himself to Liam Cohen. And it's kind of like, all right, he is now commanding more snaps, more opportunities, more targets. They brought in Diami Brown for a reason, lid lifter, all that. They love him. I was talking to Adam Schefter about Diami in the offseason, and he said, yeah, they really like him. And boom, he had a good game. But Brian Thomas, man, I mean, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just start there. I say trade him. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I mean, I'm trying not to overreact, but this is the worst start I think I've ever seen for a consensus top 8 wide receiver. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So I was worried about it a little bit. I kind of kept thinking, like, why aren't we hearing anything about Brian Thomas? Like, what's going on? And I kind of defaulted to no news is good news. I was a little worried, but I mean, we're not reacting to the fact that they're not throwing accolades his way and all that. But Thomas, your thoughts here. I know you're selling low. I mean, so I'm not selling at all cost, but if I could get a fair offer at this juncture, I'm doing it, because it's clearly he's not coming close to what I thought he would do. I'm already waving the white flag, but what say you?
My question is, what do you trade him for? I mean, you're gonna have to pivot quite heavily. The targets are all there. Everything is there. I think that's what you tell the person you trade him to. Well, I'm one of the people that are like, if someone's coming to me, they're like, hey, this guy is great. You should get him off of me. He's so good. My often response is, well, you should keep him then. That's right. Often my reply. But I think this game is looked at differently. Same with his performance. If the 2 touchdowns that woulda, shoulda, coulda been actually go in, we're talking about a player that all of a sudden is now a top 8 wide receiver on the week, and there's no panic. I think, yes, the targets are a little bit all over the place for the Jaguars, but they also have like a 77% wide receiver target share. Like, they are not using the tight end or running back. I think it's there.
That's true.
My issue when I talked to Brett Whitefield about this last week on Trevor Lawrence is that he's just,
well, that's another problem. That's part of the analysis. We're also relying on Trevor Lawrence every week, who's Mr. Schematic. If it's a good schematic, okay, he might be decent. If it's not, he'll be terrible. And he doesn't have the same chemistry that Mac Jones showed quickly. Oh, that's absolutely part of it, Thomas.
Yeah, that's that. I've been making that joke all off season. He's going to wish he had Mac Jones, and now that might actually be a thing. But it's also second week in the offense. It's a complicated offense. That is true. The question is, what are you selling for? Because you had to take them ahead of guys at times like Drake London, ahead of guys like Ted McMillan, and now I don't think you're getting any of those trades straight up. So
you're trading, Thomas. I would answer this: you're trading him for maybe another underachiever or 2 that you see a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Maybe you package some sort of deal and you get Travion Henderson and Ladd, who is not getting quite the volume, something like that.
Okay, I would definitely be poking around. I will say that I'm a bit more patient with stuff like that.
Oh, I know, I am too.
I'll say
I just think I am too, but this is really bad. That's all I'm saying. Will he bounce back? Yes. But at the end of the day, I think there's more risk to holding on compared to moving now, presuming we get a fair return. I'm not saying sell at all costs, but I think there's more risk in hoping to wish cash improvement than just I'm ready to be. Sometimes you got to be decisive. Boom.
I agree. Yep, you're right. I will not disagree there. What else we got?
Well, in that same game, the Burrow injury. Good news for Chase Brown in the screen game. I got lucky last week and won a Chase Brown receiving prop by a half a damn yard or one because Jake Browning came in and threw him a couple screen passes. Because Burrow, I'm starting to really be anti-Burrow on a lot of fronts. Number one, the availability, but number two, like not playing under center, limiting the offense a little bit. Browning will be under center a little bit more, I think. I think he's a lot more open to it. But I don't know if we have a massive drop-off for Jamar Chase because Browning missed a screen pass. So I did say I might trade T. Higgins, who didn't produce much with Browning, very touchdown dependent and pretty low target share, about 16%. So it's going to be a lot of screens to Chase and Chase, Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. So I do think Browning will hold down the fort. Remember, he outproduced freaking Patty Mahomes down the stretch a few years ago. That's it. Moving on to another lesson, Javonte Williams. I mean, he's still not the same player, but he's clearly getting better. I think he looks better, a little bit more explosive, just a little bit. But, he's a bigger back, physical back. He's bringing it. They're getting him involved in the passing attack. I feel really good about where he is. I have him in the Fantasy Points Dynasty League. I've been dying with him for 5 years, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa! I had him and Jonathan Taylor as my two top backs when we launched that league 5 years ago. And I've been sitting there half a decade just dying, but guess I'm back with JT and Javonte. Feel really good about that with Javonte and also Jake Ferguson. I didn't officially list him as a target this year, but I did draft him a bunch of times in the draft plan because I thought he was a really good tight end 2 to draft with tight end 1 potential. And right now, what is he leading the all tight ends in targets?
Yeah.
Or catches. And they're going to have to, they'll be throwing it a lot. Defense doesn't look good. So I'm not trading Javonte. I think he's going to do it all year. Frankly.
Yeah, I think this is real, and we should react to being real. One of the things I preach all the time, and yes, it's for dynasty points, but it is also for redraft. Again, how many times have I said this? When a player becomes a meme, you buy. Javonte was memed in the hopes that, again, we did this with the Chargers last year. Remember the Twitter's favorite player, Kamani Vidal? Oh, yeah. Jaden Blue was the new, he's the rookie, he's taking over, these running backs suck, and it pushed guys like Javonte down. He wasn't a sexy or flashy name, but I think this is real. Now, how much juice is he going to have by week 8? That's to be determined, but I'm buying this completely right now. Don't trade him away. This usage is insane. The Cowboys are a lot better than people expected, including on defense. I'm 100% with you. Chasing Breaker says people are still undervaluing Javonte. I agree. I'm buying. If somebody wants out, dynasty and redraft, if somebody wants out, I am buying this because this backfield is just consistently profitable. It is always good to. Last year, Rico Dowdle was an absolute smash if you got him.
He was. O-line looked pretty good last week too, by the way.
They look better than I would have possibly ever expected. And again, offense for fantasy purposes, way up. So I'm in. I was in on the Cowboys before. I was a little low to start the year with Javonte, but I have to tell you, when a player becomes a meme and they're free, we have to buy. And this is a great lesson for next year. They may not always be the sexiest names, John, but you've been in this game a long time. How often is the unsexy name the one that pays the bills at the end of the year? It's more often than not.
Oh, totally. I'm
with you.
By the way, full disclosure, I do have to admit one thing is I always do this. I set myself for failure by really backing players like hardcore and hardcore. And sometimes when I do that and it doesn't work out down the road, I am a little hesitant because I don't want to seem like I'm clinging to my initial evaluation or, all that. So that does trip me up just a little bit when if I get a guy wrong 3 years in a row, on a positive thing, I probably not going to back the guy hard at least. But I will also say if there's a guy that I have burned people with and I'm still in, like, not a great example, but Darnell Mooney last year, you can take that as a good sign at the very least. But right. I ranked Javonte not more than a 10 picks below his ADP, but I was below, but not by much, but I was below. So That's probably why I was below, because I burned people for half a decade on Javonte.
It's
moving on. Let's real quick. I know we don't want to take up too much time, but I wrote here. You know me, I like my little jokes, but I wrote Scataboo, Scataboo. He will do the fandango. Now the fandango is a dance. Maybe he will in the end zone. But you know, your boy Tyrone Tracy. I hate to say it, but I actually did list him as a trade guy last week, even though the role was good. Certainly, they brought in Scataboo for a reason. The power, the speed. I mean, I think he's just kind of just a big bruiser that he finds a way. Good receiver. I saw him throwing touchdowns in college. I always like that. When a running back is that good of an athlete that they could throw a good ball, that bodes well. Like Walter Payton or LaDainian Tomlinson. But,
right.
I don't know if he's ever going to be a great RB2, but I think we're looking pretty good with Scataboo. What do you think here?
Yeah, I don't want in redraft. I don't know if I want either backs in the backfield. Tyrone Tracy Jr. was a sell for Buck and I on the Dynasty Points Market Report not that long ago. Scataboo looks to be exactly what we thought he was, like you said. And again, I don't know how valuable that is in this offense. Maybe that can change. But if I can turn him into a known producing veteran running back, I think I would do that. I don't see it with Scataboo. I'm not a film guy. So take that for what you will. I just don't know how valuable this, if the workload continues to be a split like this, like we need
it's going to be a little volatile for sure. It's going to be volatile, but I'm just looking at, goal line carries and targets.
Yep.
That's pretty valuable.
Yep, so. Absolutely. If I think he's a fine flex play when Dart comes in, but the way the offense is running now, if I could pivot off him to somebody like a Tootin, I would.
Okay.
Or even an ETN, I would.
Chiefs are in trouble.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. They're in big trouble. I've been ragging on them for 3 years now, and it's just I just can't. I'm sick of it. I know Andy's sick of it. They are going downfield to Thornton, and doesn't catch a lot of them, but he's been catching at least one. But they're just in big time trouble. I did list Rashee Rice as a trade for. I would do it. I would do it.
Have to. Yep.
You have to. And in retrospect, I probably would have done this. But if we were not looking at any suspension with Rice, he's a second round pick for me for sure. Yep. Probably early second round pick, like 15 overall. That's how valuable I think Rashee Rice can be. Then the Eagles, I went back and I looked, I know it's only 2 games, but this has got to stop. I mean, this has got to stop. Jalen Hurts right now is on pace to throw for 2,000 yards.
They're unwatchable.
Sid Luckman led the NFL in passing in 1943 with more passing yards than Jalen Hurts is on pace for right now.
That's crazy. It's obviously going to turn around at some point, but I think the Eagles are unwatchable. And I made our guy Joe Dolan and Chris Beck really mad about this. I think the tush push just it's the most boring. It is the most boring play in sports, and I get that it works. Why don't they stop it? Every team can run it. I get it. You get a free false start every single time from both guards. Your quarterback also full starts I get it. I would do it too if I could use it. It feels like, John, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob said this really well last night. He said this looks like a 2023 version of the team, but it also just feels like
it does. You know why? Because they don't have a offensive coordinator, who's proven. This is why Nick Sirianni, man, I am a vibes guy, so it's not like I'm just randomly feeling vibes out, but I take in all the information and then I come up with a vibe, and the vibe I've had on Sirianni has been off from day one. I know the press conference was weird, all that crying at the national anthem was, I'm sorry, it was weird. It was weird. But like, what does this guy do, Sirianni?
it's just one of those things that I find interesting when your team wins this much and nobody knows if your coach is good.
Yeah.
I find that to be interesting. But before I put my foot in my mouth too harshly, I think it's going to be better as it goes on. I think that it
can't get any worse. It literally can't get any worse.
I feel like they're in the Chiefs mode. They don't care right now.
True. That might be true.
They're already, I think, looking to, December and January more than they are now. So it could be annoying now. Like AJ Brown at this rate is going to be a buy in a week or two.
Yeah.
And the only one I'm not buying, and I hate to say this, is your boy Devonta Smith. What
is up, man?
I'm done with this guy on my fantasy rosters. I'm done with him in Dynasty, even though you can't really trade him for much.
I mean, it's not his fault when they freaking throw for 2,000 yards in a season. I know it's only 2 games.
That is the problem, though. Like such a good player, but I had AJ Brown as my candidate for biggest dynasty faller in ADP next year out of the top couple of rounds. He was still a round 3 pick this year, going ahead of people like Tet McMillan. That was dumb. That was dumb then, and it's going to look even more dumb by week 8. And I'm out. Like, he's going to be a buy because when you meme a player and they get so low, they're a buy. He's going to be a buy, but right now I'm done. Smitty is a wonderful receiver, and if he's on any other team and not locked up, same with AJ Brown. I feel like they are elite assets, but the way this offense operates, it feels like Goddard is kind of Goddard and Barkley feel like the key cogs to this offense. And granted, AJ Brown had a wide open touchdown, but their backup tight end, Calcaterra, as Joe Dolan put it, was a turnstile, right? So they did have a nice play dialed up. AJ Brown was wide open on if Hurts would have actually pulled the trigger. But I'm with you. They gotta stop with this.
And I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts is not that good of a passing quarterback.
Well,
I mean, he throws the ball down the field well. He has good ball location, but he also leaves plays on the field all the time.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing Jacob mentioned last night, and it stirred the pot.
I would trade Hurts. I understand the guy's freaking scoring 14 rushing touchdowns a year. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, it really is a joke. I'm very sick of this for fantasy. Like we got to do something here to offset this. We all leagues should be 6 points per touchdown pass. Period. Start there. You have to offset the cheat code a little bit. It's so annoying, and the scoring down and all that. Here's one reason scoring is down, and this has been driving me nuts for a while. There are no longer any good pocket passers. That's why scoring's down. Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady retired. Kirk Cousins no longer playing. Pocket passer who you could count on. This is why this stuff is hard nowadays, because these quarterbacks stink. Drake might not stink. That's another lesson. He may, with an E at the end, be a cheat code. Good game. Design runs. Nice. Okay. Good. Of course, it was against Miami. Danny Dimes. I mean, what else can we say? He's legit. That was another lesson. Quinshon Judkins. I liked it. Judkins. I actually had him ranked over Marion Hampton. I know the Browns stink, but guess what? He's already the RB1 there.
He looked so good. His numbers against the Ravens were unbelievable. 3 receptions, 10 yards on that. He was on there on third down, passing downs. They were using him on the field for play actions. It absolutely nerfed Sampson immediately. Yeah. Just immediately nerfed him in his. And I was looking forward to Sampson this week against Baltimore. And yes, the end of the game and stuff, but he was making people miss. He looked explosive.
I think Judkins is better than Hampton.
I am inclined to agree with you, and I need to show some love to my co-host on Dynasty Points Market Report, Andy Buckler, who had him above Hampton and Henderson. Now the Henderson thing, who knows? But as of right now,
I did too. I saw that. I was with him. I had Judkins at RB2.
Absolutely, and he was right there as well. So I wanted to give him some love and some shout out there. We've been talking about buy with him, and you said it here on this program too. Buy. The upside may not be there for right now, but if you're playing Dynasty, Judkins is a priority, must-have add. You might be a week late to getting a discount, but you may not be a week late on getting the opportunity. Seize that opportunity.
What did I say about his passing chops too? I don't know if anyone talks about this, but I mean, this guy could be great in the passing game.
Yep, agreed. Yep, we've been hammering that home. That offense, I want running backs and a good running back offense, and this definitely counts.
Jets are prone to jet still. I don't know where else to go with that. I mean, you want to talk about a volatile 2 weeks. My God. So I'm sorry for saying anything about any jet. I should have just written them completely off. But again, we'll see. But that was just brutal. Well, I got to address JJ McCarthy real quick. JJ was not dynamite. And it's a very complicated, nuanced thing. So I don't know how much we can take from it. It doesn't look great. But on the other hand, I don't know when that ankle injury occurred.
I don't think it ever did.
You think it's fake?
I think this is a sit down kid, relax for a week or two. You had a baby, short turnaround, primetime games. The Atlanta Falcons had their best pressure rate that they have had in the last 5 or 6 years. 6 sacks. They have some really good bookend pass rushers now, 2 first-round picks. I love Pierce. I love that.
Yeah, he was all over the place, Pierce.
He did look lost. He looks flustered. That second half, week 1 against the Bears, might be more of a detriment against the Bears. We talked about this at length.
Yeah.
Right on
That's
Dynasty
fair.
Points.
That's fair.
I said on this show, give me 8 weeks. Give me 8 weeks before I panic on J.J. McCarthy because this offense is so good. I am even expecting Carson Wentz to come in and run this offense really well.
I do.
He's 10-year and I think almost a 10-year NFL veteran. He better come in and run this offense like a veteran. That's what this offense is predicated on, is timing and everything else. I think there's a lot of things coming at him too quick. I'm also wishing we still had 4 preseason games because these guys need to play.
Didn't play enough. Yeah. But also,
season.
Real quick, I don't think any teams had more injury problems than the Vikings so far.
Well, their offensive line is woeful. They have
I looked it up. They've already lost 7 of their 10 best players.
Yeah.
Haven't played or have missed time.
Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw, Harrison Smith hasn't played yet. Kelly, the center, that was critical. He went out early in the game. Cashman was out. Then Ginkle is, it's absurd. Aaron Jones now is out. They can't run the ball. Jefferson missed a lot of time. Like Hawkinson hasn't been anything. The offense, it's only 2 games. I will say this. The Vikings don't handle, what's the term? Success, but there's another term for it. They don't really handle success all that well. If they are going to ever win a Super Bowl, they're not going to win it if they go into the playoffs as favorites. So we're still alive with my claim. We just got to turn this around, get JJ going or Carson, and get hot in the playoffs. That's it. Because they have the roster to make a run. So it's not over yet, but JJ not dynamite right now.
I will say in Dynasty, we did talk about this at great length, and I'm not in a panic sell mode, but I will say I traded J.J. McCarthy, a 26-1 and a 27-3 for Amon-Ra St. Brown on a team where he is my 4th or 3rd quarterback. I picked him up when he went on IR on this team.
Yeah.
If offers like that are available to you in a Superflex format, it is okay if you want to get out and get the points and move on. It's totally fine, but I am also not panic selling.
Well, when I look at players, and I will move on, I always have like a filter, and when I look at a guy, the first thing is, does he have that ceiling? You know what I mean? And those are the guys I'm attracted to, obviously. And it's still there. Like, I still feel that way about when I look at like JJ McCarthy and Michael Penix, I'll take JJ McCarthy over Michael Penix 1 trillion times out of 1 trillion. You know what I mean? Like Penix, he's all right, but he doesn't have that ceiling. It's not there. I don't think it's going to be there. But I do still believe it with McCarthy. Of course, the offense and the players around him have a lot to do with that. And then finally, Lions are okay. Bears are not. I do believe that maybe by Thanksgiving, if it goes really bad, like they're bailing. They're bailing on Caleb Williams.
I don't. Oh, man.
I think they're bailing. And they love Tyson Badgett. They'll get a high pick too.
I'm not. I'll say
Caleb Williams will be the Raiders quarterback.
I'm going too early. That's too early. I don't think they do that. They might maybe Bryce Young him, but I think that Caleb Williams stuff is kind of funny. I think it's a little blown out of proportion when you look at things like, it came out that on that egregious looking throw by Caleb Williams, DJ Moore ran the wrong route. There's been effort concerns with some of the receivers. They're not using the two guys they drafted highly, Burden and Loveland, at all. Komet, zero in the passing game. They have one of the worst, and I don't know why anybody expected anything from DeAndre Swift, who I've been calling a zero in Dynasty for a while, but he is awful. They have one of the worst efficient running back rooms in the NFL, and my guy from Rutgers, as a Rutgers fan, Kyle Monangai, also not really doing
the O-line's not doing much.
It's been awful, even though it was, quote, retooled. The offensive line is one of those things that you just can't buy players to fit in. It all has to work. It is a complicated offense, which we know, and they have had two insane games. I see brighter days ahead for Caleb. I will just say, I've said this he looks like a toddler when he gets, when he gets hit in the pocket and he's like kind of half on top of his offensive lineman and kind of crumbling. He looks like a toddler that just got hit with a dodgeball or something. Like he just falls funny. And I don't know why that makes me laugh when I think about it. But if you go back and watch last week's game, every time he gets hit in the pocket, he just kind of looks like a toddler falling down. And I can't help but laugh at that. But I think Caleb Williams is going to be fine. Maybe not the round one startup pick people were expecting, but I see him in the Kyler Murray tier of players. As a player, someone who can rush enough to get it done, has somewhat upside throwing the ball, but I mean, he's still racking up fantasy points, and I think he's going to be fine. I just think it's going to be kind of Justin Fieldsy. Don't watch the game.
Well, that's it. That's exactly it. Like he probably will do everything you said there. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be week to week. It's going to be completely volatile. You have no idea. So my point is simply this. Get out of that business. Just sell the guy. So what? I mean, yeah, okay, great. He continues to produce, but he stinks. At the end of the day, if you stink, it's just not going to go well. So I try not to panic. We are overreacting in many cases, I'm sure. But, this is all we have to go off of, 2 games. And based on last year, based on the fact that he looks good in the scripted plays, that's not a good sign. All right, real quick, some other players that I would be inclined to trade for. I actually put Stafford on there. It's hard to find good quarterbacks. Last week, the only one I listed was Drake May, so that was good. I don't think Stafford's got the ROI potential like a May, even after just one game last week. But I do like the matchups here. Even this week against Philly, I'm not that worried. Although, maybe we should be, because you got Cooper DeJean on Puka, and then they'll put Quinyon Mitchell on Devontae. So maybe I'm a little worried about this week. But Indy, San Fran, Baltimore, Jacksonville, New Orleans, this is pretty good. Chase Brown, as I mentioned, not. I've always kind of worried about him running the ball, believe it or not. But thank God he is going to get some PPR relief with Jake Browning. I hate to say it. Mr. Checkdown Charlie. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, not going to do anything on third down, but he does give them the juice that Brian Robinson didn't. He's looked pretty good. I mean, I would buy low before he starts stacking up good performances, and then the value raises. Here's a weird one, and I don't like Caleb Johnson. I still don't like him. And it's his low end. But I'm telling you, as much as I like Jalen Warren as a pick, he's not a lead back, and I don't think Kenny Gainwell is. I really do think that they're going to be screwed if they can't get some early down contributions, kind of a base running attack with Caleb Johnson. They did bring him in for a reason. I know he's got like one snap though right now. So long-term, low-end guy. Rashee Rice I mentioned. Ladd. I think Ladd is still the clear alpha here. Quentin Johnson. I don't buy him totally. He's Mr. Individual big play. Keenan Allen's good. But McConkey will do things like he could probably avoid Surtain a little bit this week inside.
Well,
like
Surtain's also banged up.
He is also hurt, right?
He's banged up, and there is that.
I'd still buy. I think I'd buy low on Genty. I know they're not blocking it up very well. I do think they have a chance for volume the next month. Washington, Chicago, Indy, and Tennessee. I feel I'm a little worried about Calvin Ridley, but we did take a step forward in week 2. Then the young running backs, all of them really, Henderson, Harvey, and Hampton, the 3 H's. Maybe we should have known. H is too soft. Harvey, Hansen. Just going to have to preach patience. That's all it is. But I think I'm most worried about Hampton because they're not throwing to the running backs at all, Thomas. Najee got it ramped up a little bit. What do you think about Hampton?
So Jacob is my co-host on Dynasty Points is extremely panicked. He had him as the RB5 in the class. So he's kind of like in severe panic. Myself, I'm only panicked in that and maybe I'm crazy with this. He doesn't look good laterally.
No.
I refuse to believe that an offense that let Gus Edwards rush for over 5 yards a carry with this offensive coordinator being so good at designing the run can't get Hampton going. Here's my take on Omarion Hampton. Yes, he has been struggling.
I think he's a little stiff hip to your point. I thought Judkins had more lateral juice than Hampton.
For sure.
And that was a hot take. Nobody agreed with me.
For sure. And I like the usage, and he hasn't looked phenomenal, but they've also played 2 stout run defenses in Vegas and the Chiefs.
That is true.
It also feels like, and maybe I'm wrong because, again, I'm not a film guy, but this feels like the most simplified Greg Roman rushing offense I've ever seen.
That's true. Yeah.
They are not letting...
They're kind of putting the ball in Justin Herbert's hands.
Correct. Yeah. So this feels like a simplified, watered-down version of the run game, and I feel like this is partially because Najee isn't there and they don't want to overload Hampton, but it feels like Harbaugh is the kind of coach that is not just going to leave Hampton on the side of the road with how much he props his players up. So I am worried about the short term. So in redraft, I'm probably out, but in the long term, I don't expect this pass rate for the Chargers to maintain as they get a little bit of softer run defenses, and their offensive line has been awful at run blocking as well. Plus, I expect this offense to evolve a little bit more in the run game, as is kind of tradition with Greg Roman. He usually keeps things in his back pocket until he needs it. I'm panicked in redraft. I'm not panicked in dynasty. So that's where I'm at. That's been my thoughts with it. But you're right. Little stiff in the hips is not good, but I feel like a lot of that's correctable.
Yeah. All right. Well, for those who want more trade targets and all that, the article is up on the side. I got 24 dudes here. So, I mean, here's one. Harold Fannin. I'd sell.
Really?
We're not for this year.
Okay.
I mean, Joe Flacco's out of the lineup by Halloween. Come on, man. I mean,
I think Gabriel targets him a lot.
Hey, if Gabriel can get it done, I'll admit I was wrong, but if not, we're going to Shador, so we're going to have 2 different quarterbacks.
No, if the Browns put Shador Sanders in the game, they are trying to get the 101 to draft a quarterback. He is so woefully terrible. And actually, you know what? As I say that out loud, they might do it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Ravens fan, I love to see every time Shador Sanders come into a game and gets blown up, and I'm gonna enjoy seeing it when it happens to Gabriel as well. Please just. Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for my thoughts on Shador Sanders and the cult following in which that he carries. So I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, you hold on to the ball in college and take a lot of sacks. You're gonna hold on to the ball in the NFL and take a lot of sacks.
Oh, and he does not have the athleticism. He looks really good against unranked opponents. But man,
I mean, he's again at the best. I think he's Geno Smith. That's what I see.
Oh, that's high ceiling. I think.
But Geno Smith also sat on the bench for like 7 years.
I think at best he's like Tim Couch, if you want to go quarterback to quarterback for the Browns. Like
I can't even remember Tim Couch. I mean, he's big, tall, pocket pass. I remember one time I said something bad about Tim Couch, and like his cousin was a subscriber, and he's like, "Oh man, don't." I'm like, "Sorry."
How about less athletic Cordell Stewart with weaker arm talent? There's not great quarterbacks in the NFL. Anyway, again, I'm going to get in trouble on YouTube.
Does anyone remember the cheat code year with Cordell Stewart?
There was one year where he was
97, I believe.
Unreal. Yeah, but just overall, I don't.
And then, do you remember, not to rip Cordell Stewart, but do you remember the year after that he was seen crying on the sidelines?
No, that one's I was a little young.
Google it. I don't know. Maybe it's out there, but yeah. And I actually was asked by ESPN in 1998 to write fantasy segments for air on, actually it was the NFL Tonight, I believe. So the first fantasy football reference ever mentioned on ESPN, I wrote it, and it was about Cordell Stewart, and it was that he was crying reportedly because he drafted himself in fantasy because he was a bust. He was a big bust that year, so I had to take a shot there. But
oh my goodness,
that is hysterical. Like, it was like a little blurb, and it was 2 or 3 items, but one of them was that Cordell may have been crying because he drafted himself in fantasy football that year. But
that's good.
What else? What do we have here? Let's get to the. We already ate up 44 minutes, but.
Hey, look, this is what we mean. We have content we're bringing you guys every week. Questions are always going to be a bit of a bonus. We're going to try to get to some of my favorites here, and then the super chats as well, as promised. So Walk Daddy came out with, I have Brian Thomas Jr. and T. Higgins. I'm okay at running back with Chase Brown and Pollard plus K9. Any wide receiver trade targets you recommend I can get by trading T/Brian Thomas Jr. I am 0-2, so he needs some upside shots. We talked about a few already here, actually, so we kind of answered this without actually answering this. But in terms of wide receiver trade targets, Guru, what do you got?
Yeah. Who did I put on? Oh, yeah, I did have a couple on the article. Sorry, hold on. Well, Ladd was one of them, which it's not that great. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up again. So many damn tabs open. Oh my goodness. See, who do we have here? Again, I looked over everything. It wasn't a ton. Reishi, that is not going to do crap for you. I didn't really have anything in the article that really stood out. I actually put this how deep I went and desperate. I actually put Coker on there because they need him. And as soon as he's back, he might have some pop here and some juice. I actually played a Hunter Renfrow prop last week, and he easily hit that. But let me take a look real quick and see. I don't know what is going on with this thing. Okay. I mean, that's a tough one here. Marvin Harrison had a crappy game this week. He might be week to week, though. I did call that last week. You know what? But real quick, Thomas, beware of J.C. Horn, man. I mean, I think he's taking out dudes this year. I
think he's really good. I think he's finally healthy, and I think that matters a lot. I got one for you if you want to hear one, Guru. How about Matthew Golden? Matthew Golden is a type of player that missed a couple of big shots. Jordan Love underthrew him on the one.
Absolutely, that is a good one.
I think Matthew Golden is one, especially with Reed now having 2 surgeries. He's absolutely cooked, and I do not care about Christian Watson coming back. I think Golden has league winning potential if he hits on these deep shots. He's kind of cheaper. Jameson Williams. He is one. I think Chris Olave, given his 20.5 expected or 20.4 expected fantasy points per game. But you run a serious risk with him. And then I will also.
How about DK Metcalf? I feel all right about DK. He didn't have very good schematic matchups the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm the lowest in the. I don't know if you know this, John, but I'm the lowest in the company on DK Metcalf.
I am. I'm a hater.
Are you? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've been a hater from day one. Yeah.
I don't even want him now.
I know.
I can't. Arthur Smith is still Arthur Smithing, and I can't trust that. Although I'm not necessarily trading T. Higgins, and here's why. Jake Browning started 7 games in 2023. This is according to our boy Ryan Heath. And T. Higgins in those games had 15.7 fantasy points per game, 11.7 expected. Jamar Chase, 13.4 fantasy points per game, and 11.5 expected. T. Higgins outplayed Jamar Chase.
Wasn't that touchdown? I think that was touchdowns, though.
Yeah, but this is the Bengals, though. This is like touchdowns for T. Higgins are always his thing for the most part. And I think he's really good. I don't think you have to sell T. Higgins. I think he's going to end up being actually okay. But if you do want to get out of Brian Thomas Jr., those are a couple options. And you should be getting pluses on top of that. I'm talking like Juwan Jennings and Trevion Henderson. I'm talking
Jennings is a pretty good one.
Jacoby Myers and Judkins. Like, there are options for you to get points. So those are Matthew Golden and Judkins.
How about I like the Golden one. How about Drake London on the high end?
Yes, add a little something and go and get Drake London. I'm right there with you.
But I'm looking here, like there's not much. I mean, because they're spreading the damn ball around.
Yeah.
And there's not as much production. So this drives you nuts. Looking at, maybe DJ Moore, but I don't trust that.
I'm out of the DJ Moore business.
Yeah, I know. Again, we're groping. We're looking, Pickens. I mean, he scored last week, so the value went up. I mean, Sutton didn't do crap last week. I mean, I would look at Sutton,
Sutton, well, you're absolutely right. Yep. Agreed. Those are some good ones. Scanny with the $4.99 says, morning fellas, here's my weekly donation. Thoughts on Wentz being able to support Hawkinson, also season outlook on JMO and Pearsall.
Well, look, who knows, but Carson Wentz, by the way, North Dakota State, he's from that area of the country. Probably grew up a Vikings fan. He loved throwing to the tight end in Philly. I mean, it was Zach Ertz and then it was Goddard. So yeah. I mean, he likes throwing it over the middle, down the seam. I could totally see it. It's just weird, man. It's a tough environment. You got this kid. He's their number one pick. All the fans are excited, like me. Got a lot of pressure, and the team it's a team sport. Like, I'm not trying to pass judgment on JJ. He screwed up, with some bonehead plays, a couple bad throws, but I mean, it is the ultimate team sport, and the team is not showing up They're not showing up overall. I mean, the defense got run all over last week, and they couldn't protect, and they couldn't run it.
Yeah, so. I agree. I expect him to be fine. As for seeing how long for Jameson Williams, I got to get something off my chest, Guru.
Right.
Jameson Williams getting 125 targets was never going to happen. Stop. If you doubted Amon-Ra St. Brown again, you fell for the meme. You fell for the joke. He did 4 years in a row. This man has been doubted, and he's the GOAT. I think what you saw is what you're getting from Jameson Williams all year. He's either going to score you 7 points or he's going to score you 18 to 20. This is somebody that does not score 25 and above. He has one game, I believe, in his career where he's caught more than 5 passes. This just is what he is. He is my favorite first flex spot type player because he can score you with, and granted, he had those 2 targets when they were up like 3 touchdowns, when they were putting the hammer down. Like, I think what we've seen from Jameson Williams over his career is what he is, and that's okay too. Just the hope of him being like a top 10, top 9 wide receiver.
God, no, I'm
not buying it.
I wasn't ever buying that. But I'm like, I think he could be wide receiver 19, at the end of the season, and he's wide receiver 27. So he's a pretty good pick, pretty good value. I will say this. I had Amon-Ra's over the yardage prop as one of my, I think it was my top prop of the week, or no, it was like 3rd. And that absolutely hit, of course, but he went off. But I didn't like Jameson because of the great schematic matchup for Amon-Ra and the poor one for JMO. And by the way, Jalen Johnson, didn't he get hurt in the game? But, I thought it was a good sign that he actually still went off a little bit because I didn't like JMO this week. But yeah, I hear you. And hey, we're a week or 2 away, or maybe 3 from Tesla. I mean, this guy, 5 games in a row, he has made a big play. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch, for sure. And so that's the outlook for Jameson Williams, in my opinion. And your guy Pearsall, I have to tell you, broke my heart. I had a bet. I had a prop bet. I had the Trey McBride over 63.5 receiving yards with a James Conner touchdown. I took the over on CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, got that in overtime.
Yeah.
But to kick it off, I had Ricky Pearsall over 63.5 receiving yards. I thought I had it all day. I'm watching the last game, Cardinals. I see James Conner score. I start celebrating this massive ticket. Then I look, Pearsall had 62 receiving yards, and I was heartbroken.
Well, then the number, because I played that and that won. I played it at like 50 3 or something.
Yeah, Bet365 as Canadian. I play on Bet365.
Oh, okay. So it's like an alternative total or something.
Yeah, it was not the
Right.
same. I was heartbroken, but I think Ricky Pearsall is totally fine. I saw someone in the chat ask if they should pick up Ayuk before Pearsall becomes irrelevant. Pearsall will not be irrelevant.
No. I mean, this is the number 1 pick. He is good. Ayuk coming off the injury, who knows? The vibes were bad before with Ayuk. So, I mean, it's not a stunner that Juwan Jennings did well, but it is interesting to note that Brock Purdy has been working with frickin' Ricky all off season. Week 1 looked great. Preseason looked great, but now Brock Purdy's not there. So we probably have to, I'm definitely pulling back the expectations a tad with Ricky. Wide receiver 3 now only, I'd say, because I think I had him probably as a 2 last week.
Yeah, I had him.
Where'd I have him?
As a potential wide receiver.
Yeah, I had him as a 2
to start the year, but I think that's going to be pretty.
Hey, look, if you're rolling with Ricky as your 3rd, that's fine. I mean, you drafted him at like 90. That's fine. Like, you're fine. I think.
Absolutely. I agree. Couple more. Rob Milner. Would you deal Pickens plus Judkins for London? RBs are Hampton, JCM Tootin, Judkins, and Caleb Johnson. Have JJ, Ted, Pickens, and Rice at wide receiver.
No. I mean, because
I would not. I think.
I mean, not like that you can count on Judkins, but if you trade away Judkins, like, you're really thin here, running back.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Rob, you're gonna need Judkins down the stretch. Your wide receivers are nice, but I think you're gonna be okay. Weather the storm, brother. Dylan Carver, I know you're a big Lad guy, Guru. Someone sent me an offer for Lad, and I get T-Mac. It's really tempting with the ceiling of T-Mac. I am 100% Tet over Lad at this point in Dynasty and in redraft, so I'm taking this.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know, Lad's been relatively durable, but I do worry a little bit about injuries. He's a small guy out there. He's not big. But Tet's legit. Like, I hopped aboard Tet. Didn't take much to see in that first preseason game. I'm like, that's it. I've seen enough. He's good. And I'm all in there. So yeah, I agree with you. I would do that. You always want to get the alpha, the true alpha. And, you know, Lad's the alpha, but he's not the alpha as Ted is.
I am surprised Keenan Allen has fit just immediately back to almost wide receiver 1 status in this offense as much. And I'm also interested. I find it interesting that for a Greg Roman offense, they've removed the tight end completely. I thought
they're dead.
I thought Conk was going to be more valuable. Quentin Johnston is the tight end in this offense. If you look at how it's operating in the red zone, he's running I don't know if you remember this,
crossing routes and the underneath stuff.
It's the goal line. Look at this. Me and Guru, we're on the same wavelength. It's QJ's role. And if you leave Quentin Johnson wide open, he doesn't have to worry about dropping the ball because no one's around to press him.
Exactly. They do him. They use him that way because, you know, he is physically gifted. He's huge. I was around him. He's freaking huge. And he's got like the deepest voice you've ever heard, by the way. It's like, oh my God, is that God? No, it's Quentin Johnston. But when you utilize the big body and the run after the catch and all that, like, that's kind of just smart as opposed to making him a big air yards guy. I know he's had a couple of those air yard plays, but he also got concussed on that one in the preseason.
That's right, and which looked really unfortunate. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. So I'm a little surprised with the Keenan Allen stuff as much as it is.
Hey, the guy is a professional, but let's check in November and December.
That's right.
33 years old, and see where we're at.
I think Tet is as advertised. He's unreal, and I would definitely be looking to make a trade like that. Maxwell Owens with the 499. I have Ladd, Devonta Smith, Egbuka, Jameson. I think that's Jameson Williams. Seeing how you're talking about receivers. Sure Dunze in a standard league. Which two would you trade away to get a wide receiver 1 in a standard league? I have Hurts at QB.
Definitely a Dunze on the heels of the big game.
I would say I'm trading Devonta Smith immediately, and I am trading Jameson Williams immediately. I'm actually keeping a Dunze. He looks like the wide receiver 1 there.
I'm going to trade a Dunze.
Really?
And Devonta Smith. And because of the low volume passing attack. And the reason I'm going to trade a Dunze is I think it's already pretty clear. He's a scheme guy. He's a schematic guy. I liked him last week in the article. We all had the data on him against man. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this over 50 yards. Roma Dunze. Boom. I mean, it was easy, easy peasy. So I actually looked over the schedule and I see more zone heavy teams than man heavy teams. And that's a problem. Certainly Roma Dunze in a normal offense in a normal environment would be fine, but he is still learning on the job. So right now he's not good against zone. And so I'm not starting him against zone heavy teams because A, the quarterback stinks. B, they've got a myriad weapon, too many weapons, not enough to support. So adding it all up, I would trade Roma Dunze.
Okay. I think that might be our first like outright. That's going on the sheet. I think we're going to have to put that on the sheet. I like that. I like that. Hopefully that helps. Maybe trade Jalen Hurts.
Look, we don't have the answers to the test. We're just looking to do business here. We're doing business here. We're diving deep in. Oh, Roma Dunze went off. What happened? Coverage, schematics. Oh, great. Well, let's take a look at the future. Do we have many defenses that play a lot of man? Not really. So let's move on because of all the other things.
I love it, and I love this exercise. I think this is
great questions. See, this is what we're talking about. Get there.
Phenomenal questions. We got Jay Prug with the one. Guru, need to rebound from worst week in 34 years. Playing this game, lost by 90 in 2 leagues.
Wow.
1 point every.
That's a pretty good 34-year run if that's the worst you've ever had, by the way.
I had 3 of my worst beats that I have ever had playing fantasy. I've lost by 0.14, 0.02, and 0.01 on a kneel down.
I was in the Fantasy Points playoff league for the Sirius show last year, and I had to tweet because I'm like, is this bad? Because it was in the playoffs, and I was losing by like 120 points. Like it was unbelievable. I mean, is this bad? And then I just got my ass trounced. But anyways.
He 1 point every 20 yards passing, a 0.5 PPR, pick 3, Devontae Adams. God, he smashed. Pearsall, Hollywood, A.O. Manor, Canada, and Tet himself.
Oh, Canada. I'm not doing Devontae this week.
Okay. I
hate to say it, he looked great, man. He looks awesome.
He does.
And he's going to be great. But we are going to see some shadowy coverage, I think. Well, maybe not shadow. I don't think we're projecting shadow. But we got a little Quinyon Mitchell here. I mean, it's kind of probably going to be shadowy with Adams. So I'm not doing it. So let's go Tet.
Yep.
Who we got here with Pearsall? I'm still obviously looking through everything. Arizona. Oh, Ricky. I'm gonna go Ricky there.
Okay.
And now it's between Hollywood and Aya Manor.
Yeah.
PPR. America.
Half point PPR in America.
Oh, man, I was tempted to. If you read Hansen since last week, I did like Aya Manor. Wish I played the prop. It's tough, you know. I'm gonna go Hollywood, assuming Hollywood's not hurt.
Well, are you concerned at all that it looks like we have reports that Worthy is playing? Would that sway you at all, or are you're just going Hollywood and hope he scores?
Well, what happened with Hollywood last week? Did he get nicked up?
I believe so.
I think he left the game.
That's just typical for Hollywood Brown. I will say I'm leaning A.O. Manor. Do you want to hear some kind of interesting stats here? Yeah. A.O. Manor's target share compared to Calvin Ridley's is 23% to A.O. Manor's 21.3. First read target share 26.8, tied with Calvin Ridley. Has a higher targets per route run. His yards per game is slightly under, and he has a higher yards per route run. Brett Whitefield said A.O. Manor is this class's potential Puka Nacua, and so far data's backing it up if Cam Ward kind of locks in.
What do we think of Xavier Howard these days, by the way?
Cooked. I think he's cooked. Yeah. I
mean, it does seem like it's been a half a decade since we worried about Xavier Howard.
Yeah,
that would be the match. Okay, you sold me on Ayamana. I can do it. Again, I liked him last week. I liked him this summer. I drafted him in the Fantasy Points Dynasty League. So I'm actually very invested in Ayamana because he was so damn cheap. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a shot with this guy. Who the hell knows if it's going to work out? But he's got number one wide receiver qualities. So let's take an educated guess, and looks like it's working.
Yeah, I'm willing to take that bet on that upside. Like I am a known fader of Cam Ward because I don't think rookie quarterbacks outside of like the phenomenal, outstanding, insane ones prop up receivers. So
I mean, we're not getting a damn thing from anyone else.
Exactly.
I'm talking to the running backs. I'm talking to tight ends.
Yeah.
Secondary. There's nothing going on there.
Yeah, I'm willing to take my shot on Ayamana, and I'm trusting our guy Brett Whitefield and his wide receiver evals, and I mean he has that breakout potential. So I'll trust him here. I don't trust this Hollywood Brown thing. I think the 16 targets thing was, I look, he does it. The first two fantasy articles I ever wrote were about Hollywood Brown. I've watched every snap of his career so far. He just does these sometimes. I'm willing to bet that's his best fantasy output of the year. Brandon Frederick says hopefully I didn't butcher that. I apologize. $4.99. Trade away Egbuka and Ken Walker for Saquon in full PPR.
Wow. I mean, yeah,
I would.
Assuming that you have decent receivers that you can, plug in there. Egbuka is, I mean, he's like top 30 easily. Top 25 right now, I would think. I mean, it's hard to find a lot of receivers in the NFL that you feel good about right now, only through 2 games. Honestly, like there aren't that many guys I feel really good about. I mean, I don't feel good about right now T. Higgins. I don't feel great about Garrett Wilson. I don't feel about Devontae Smith. I don't feel great about Judy. So I don't feel great about McLaurin. I mean, I don't feel good about the Dolphin guy. Like it's, I do feel good about Ibuka. But then again, the key is the Ken Walker. I mean, you may regret it. Like if Ken Walker is available and all that, bringing it, we all know he's really talented. You're probably going to regret it. But I would do the trade because I don't believe that Ken Walker can do that.
Yeah, you're rolling the dice with Ken Walker. He's definitely a dynasty guy for me, not a redraft guy for me. The Charbonnet split stuff, granted, it took 1 week for them to realize, like, oh,
yeah,
Ken
Walker looked amazing. He looked incredible.
I think maybe the key is fewer reps and fresh legs for Walker, which is also scary for fantasy production as well. Right. Hopefully, Saquon Barkley can keep scoring from the 8 because we sure as hell know he's never going to get it from the 1. But
they use him in a passing game because they, Jalen Hurts is on pace to throw for 2K. 2,000 yards.
I'm seeing some stuff in the chat that, we should just address. So ETN goes to another team. He may be a top tier receiving back. At least I'm pro buying ETN. I don't think he's going anywhere this year. I think he's there this year. I also still have a potential James Conner-esque contract extension in mind for him. So I'm definitely buying on both backs in Jacksonville. I want to shout out T-Will. He's coming over from Winnipeg Sports Talk. You can find me there live today, 2:45 Eastern, 3:45 Eastern, talking more fantasy like we are today. Rushman says Egbuka is overrated. I want to ask you about this because on the Twitter streets and in the Gremlin Discords and DMs that I am in consistently, Egbuka is ranked as a top 12 dynasty tight end guru, ranked ahead of Tet McMillan, ranked ahead of Ladd McConkey. That's too high for me. That's too high for me. He has a 20 or a 21% target share, which is pretty good. He scored 3 touchdowns, but outside of that,
it's all touchdown dependent. Yeah.
Are you selling Egbuka in redraft knowing that Godwin is coming back?
No, because I don't know about McMillan. I mean, between the Godwin McMillan returns, if one of them goes poorly, then Ibuka is going to be more than fine. I feel pretty good about the offense through 2 games. I know week 1 wasn't good for Baker, but last week was a tough matchup and they emerged victorious. Baker was pretty good. I mean, they missed Ibuka at the end of the game. Would have had a real big game. Both of them would have had a real big game. But I feel, I mean, you got to give credit to Baker Mayfield, man. This guy is the man. He really is. Good actor, by the way. But he's the man. I mean, he is the freaking man. I mean, because the dumb Browns gave up on him. He got cut by the Panthers. Cut. That could ruin a lot of dudes, especially someone with, his pedigree and all of his accomplishments. But no, he went over there to the Rams with 2 days notice. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to be Sean McVay's new quarterback. And then they obviously went and got Stafford, but that was impressive, man. So then he replaced Tom Brady in Tampa almost seamlessly. I mean, Baker Mayfield is the freaking man.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. It's hard to watch sometimes, but then I've called.
He didn't have the greatest margin for error, but he's been dealing.
I have called him the worst quarterback in football because he looks so terrible until here comes the drive, or here's the throw, or here's a random 30-yard run where he trucks somebody, and we just forget about the woeful plays, the sacks taken, the turnovers. I think he's one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks in the league since he's gotten to Tampa, really since his rookie year. And doesn't matter because he's just so fun to watch, and I love him for that. We have a couple more here, 2 super chats, and then I will explain how to get your questions answered if you did not so far. Willie Rosa has 12-team PPR. I have Javonte and Etienne on the bench. You are rich. Kamara and Pollard are my starters with Ladd McConkey in the flex. What to do now? Get there.
Get there. One of my favorite stories of all time was like a thing that I was doing like 8 years ago. I don't know why. I had these little things where I'm just like, get there. It started when I was throwing. My son was a tight end in Pop Warner football, and I would be in the yard practicing throwing them balls before a game or whatever. And I'm not a great passer of the football. I was a receiver. You know what I mean? I could catch and run. Somebody else let them throw it. So I would not throw with very good anticipation. Let's say it that way. So I would throw him hospital balls he had no chance to get, and I'd just yell, get there. And, that's what that started. But one time somebody was at an Arizona Cardinals game, and they yelled, get there. And then another guy, like 2 sections over, looked up and went, Guru in the morning, which I thought was great, especially out there in Arizona on the West Coast time. But Javonte, Etienne, Kamara, Pollard. So you are going to be looking at the matchups. You are going to consider Pollard seriously if they are, favored, or like it's a close game where, they're home and maybe 1-point underdog or whatever, because he does well in wins and doesn't do well in losses because he doesn't catch up. He's not a catch-up, hurry-up back. Otherwise, you're probably just rolling with Javonte and Kamara. And then, again, your third back is going to come down to matchups in the situation. But Pollard, I'd probably use Etienne over Pollard going forward unless it's a really, really favorable matchup where, Tennessee should, this should be close. Hard to say this week. It's in Tennessee, but the Colts offense is so damn potent that they could be playing from behind. So, yeah, I'd be probably looking at Etienne. But, yeah, I mean, what else we doing here?
I would trade Kamara and Pollard as fast as possible while they have value. You already have 2 productive backs.
So he's saying he's got too many good running backs?
Yeah, these are starters and Ladd in the flex. What to do now? I would consolidate, trade Kamara and Pollard, and go and consolidate your way up to a more valuable, consistent player. The Kamara,
I like consolidation, but I also like depth.
The Kamara target share stuff is so concerning. It's so concerning.
Right.
The offense terrible.
Kamara still looks good running though.
Kamara looks great running.
I mean, it's unbelievable. His contact balance and all that. He's still there.
He still got it. But what made him the guy was the reception.
The cheat code, yeah.
And I don't see that if he still has that value at 30 years old. And then with what we've seen from Pollard, I'm consolidating those players and going in and trying to get maybe a bit of an upswing, because I'm comfortable with Javonte and I'm comfortable with ETN. So if that's something you're into, other than that, like Guru said, you're playing.
Yeah, if you have other good receivers, some maybe don't do anything, But it sounded like he probably had some other receivers.
Exactly. Yeah. If Vlad's in your flex, you're doing pretty good. We like to say you're rich, where I come from on the internet. 2 more super chats and we got to get out of here. Jimmy B499, I think of trading either Bucky or JCM and May for Gibbs. What do you think? I would trade JCM and May for Gibbs immediately if this is a single quarterback and you have another elite option at quarterback.
God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, because May be great, but he may not. I mean, he may be week to week. So yeah, I will say though, how about my guy Rachaad White, man? I understand he didn't do crap in week 1. I know he's the backup and all that, but I said all summer, I'm like, do not doubt Rachaad White in the final year of his rookie deal, least entitled person I've ever encountered in the NFL. And what happened? Did he ever look that good bringing it? I mean, was that dude bringing it or what?
Yeah, I'm glad he got the touchdown after seeming to get hurt, like diving on that fumble. That was just an type play. But yeah, I'm definitely okay doing a trade like this. Go and get the upside.
By the way, if I had Bucky, you better get Rachaad White. I'm telling you, because if Bucky goes down, Rachaad White is going to crush.
Agreed. I'm not a Sean Tucker guy at all, but I also don't know what people think JCM is. I don't know. This is one of those things Twitter took off, and I've been a little bit of a hater, but not a hater. I've been a little bit more. Look, they call me the paragon of objectivity for a reason. I've been objective on him. I don't know what the upside is with him.
I don't either. Nobody knows. I mean, I'm not pumping him up like this great asset because I don't know. And also, I think they're clearly taking a step back this year. Clearly, it's already obvious that they're not going to be as good this year.
Yeah, if you Jimmy B is saying I'm Holmes at QB, I'm guessing this is a 1 quarterback. Yeah, you do that pretty quickly. And last question here, live on air: trade Benson plus JMO or Pearsall for Rice.
Well, assuming you don't need, you can afford this. Trey Benson is a Connor injury away from being a top 15 running back. He looks very explosive. But I would do Benson, JMO for Rice. Yeah. Who has more upside, JMO or Pearsall? That's a tough one. I would say Pearsall is probably going to be a little less volatile.
That's where I was going to go. I'm actually trading Benson and Pearsall because, again, I love a player that can just have 20 points in a blink.
That's true. And I will say with the quarterback situation, that does hurt Pearsall.
And you're also going to get that stability when Rice comes back.
Oh, God, yeah.
So you're going to get, in my opinion, double the upside with the same security plus some if you trade Pearsall plus Benson. Just, again, be ready for the Benson breakout. You have to be okay with missing out on that potentially. With that being said, Guru, that's all our super chat questions. We tried to get to as many as we can. 1 hour 13. We went a little bit over. But I will say, if you have asked a question in this chat and you want it asked and it wasn't, all you have to do is when this video ends, stay right here, stay on the page, hit refresh, drop that question in the comment section on YouTube, and I will be here all day trying to get to every single question. I have done it every week. I have not missed one as far as I know. I'm going to go back and check week 2 now just to make sure that's the case. And let you know that I am here all day for you guys on YouTube, answering these questions on here. We appreciate the super chats. We appreciate the interactions. This show is growing every single week, and it really shows that it's worth it here every single time. If you're asking a question now about a player, I am telling you there's a good chance we talked about him earlier in the show. You can head back and take a look. But Guru, final thoughts before we get out of here.
Well, I'll continue to research week number 3. Tonight, I'm doing a recording, the live stream with Graham and Brett for the week 3 matchup points, which will be a big part of my research. Then, of course, Thursday, Friday, I see the injuries come out. I'm leading up until the Hansen Hints article. So if I didn't get to a question here, one of the things about that article is it really is the most comprehensive article previewing every game and every player of note on the entire site. That's why it takes me 36 hours to do it every single week. And that's why I do get it up late. I'm really trying to get it up a little earlier because it's very frustrating when I work on. It was 16,000 words this week, and then I only get a 20-hour shelf life, but I just can't get it up any earlier. So, but it will be up on Saturday night, and it was very good last week, I thought, and I try for it to be very good every week, pretty much giving up some insight on every player of note. So yeah, check that out on the site. And again, points is the promo code if you're not a subscriber to save 15% off fantasypoints.com. For Thomas Tipple, I'm John Hansen. This has been a 1 hour and 20-minute edition of Hansen's Hints. Good luck in week 3. We'll catch you next week.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.